to the Forum Thread Podcast number 37. This is me, Doc Wondre, and here with me I've got Chaos Mana.
Hello.
Ray.
Hello.
Nobod.
Hi, everybody.
Our returning guest, Tejan Lee.
That's me.
And a very special guest, JJ.
Hello.
Yes, it's that JJ.
So when does Tejan Lee stop being a guest and start being a member?
Well, I've been trying to get on podcasts so I can be like a constant, but I always have like just shit.
Yeah, just start the
occurring.
drama. Yeah, just start the drama now.
Well, there's got
Once you get to 10.
you have to like jump him in or something, right? Like there's something you have to do to him, like to make him part of the family, right? Like,
We actually put you
Yeah,
in
it's-
the
There's going to be this
RTX.
big event at RTX next year.
Well, I've known you fuckers for like a year and a half now, so
You have to pay for our panel.
So you're gonna streak at the next RTX.
we're all
Yeah.
gonna.
Oh, God.
We had
we're
a
gonna-
conversation
We're
about
having a
this.
panel. It's gonna be
Yeah,
completely
that's what
renewed.
the whole point of the panel's for.
Oh, yeah,
We're
the
all
black
gonna-
sensor bars.
Yeah, we're going to wear those black sensor bars like you can wear for a Halloween costume and do the podcast live while being naked.
Nice.
And I'll be sitting in the back of the room still hooked up to a mic.
This will be like an after midnight kind of panel.
Yeah. It'll be that very special panel.
Artsy After Dark.
Oh, God.
Oh,
And
wait,
Ken will
that's
be
Saturday something.
on the
crap.
panel, correct?
No.
I feel like Ken should like run the panel.
He'll be like in the crowd and everyone can play Where's Ken? Just point around. He's in there
That's fair
somewhere.
to us, though, because I have a picture.
No,
of
he'll
him.
sit. No, I just think he should sit at the table, but he'll be like reading a magazine or something the entire time. He won't even look up.
You won't see
I
his
could-
face.
I could see him doing that. He just doesn't sit still for that long, though. That's his only problem. I
How
don't
many
think he
people
could do
will
that.
confuse him for Gus?
Oh my god. he was kind of offended that people thought he looked like
Oh!
Gus.
What?
He doesn't think Gus is very attractive looking, so he thought that he took it as in he himself didn't look that good either.
Oh.
Alright. I guess
Dang.
Poor Gus.
we're never getting Gus on the podcast. Whatever. Didn't
Sorry,
want him
Gus.
anyway.
My boyfriend thinks you're ugly.
I think if Gus ever arrived, he would just be like somehow end up in charge of that podcast too.
That'd
I
be
don't
great.
think he'd
That would
wanna
take a
work.
lot of
He'd-
pressure off me.
He wouldn't want to work. He'd be like, he'd just sit there drinking beer. So
Which would be fun, too.
I'm speaking of drinking beer. That's what I'm doing right now. Did anybody see Frozen?
No.
No,
What
not
are you
yet.
talking about?
The fuck? Why not?
I don't have a
What the fuck are you
5-year-old
talking
child.
about?
The new Disney movie, Frozen.
Yeah, that was on the top of my list of things to do.
Yes, it should be. It's fantastic.
That sounds like a
I like
horrible
how it-
excuse, right?
I still think it's funny how it came out of nowhere versus all the other Disney movies, which are like super advertised and pronounced and everywhere.
Well, it's so hard these days because there's Disney and there's Pixar, and so they both release 3D CGI looking movies, and they just get kind of blurred as the same thing. Like I didn't know that Wreck-It Ralph wasn't Pixar until like months after I watched it. And the whole it was Disney Studios, so yeah, they have like two machines like knocking stuff out on top of live action. So there's a lot of Disney stuff coming. There's just a lot of movies in general. There's more movies being made now than ever.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. And to top off the craziness, Disney actually took the is his name Lasseter? I don't know who it is. The
John
the guy that
Lasseter, yeah.
the guy that directed all the original big Pixar
Yeah.
movies that came out.
Oh wow!
And they stuck him in charge of both Pixar and Disney
Mhm.
animation studios. So he splits his time between the two studios.
That's an
So that-
that's an awful decision. But
Yeah. From what I've read, they both studios think both studios think he spends too much time with the other studio.
that's funny.
But I got
It'd be-
what? Go ahead, Chaos.
It'd be nice if he had a twin brother this whole time, so he really was able to just relax, but no one knew it.
How many times do we always
That
blame everything on
sounds-
evil clone screens?
That sounds like a Disney movie.
It does.
They make a Disney movie about themselves.
Wait, no,
Wait,
they're
so-
doing
yeah.
that. Didn't you see that movie they're making about the making of Mary Poppins?
Oh yeah, but is that even a Disney
What?
movie though?
Oh, I don't know.
That's
It's got
Well,
Tom Hanks in
Probably.
it's got
He's
Tom
playing
Hanks
Disney.
in it. Yeah.
it. So
It stars Walt Disney.
They brought him back from the dead. They froze him, or thawed him out from his frozen.
They froze him and then thought about
don't they have
froze
his
him again.
don't they have his brain in a jar somewhere?
No, that's Einstein.
Did you guys know that like one of the last things that Walt Disney wrote on a piece of paper before he died was Kurt Russell?
What?
Yeah, that's true. Kurt Russell was a child star. A lot of people don't know that. They just know him as like the older Kurt Russell. But he was like, I think he was in the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, and he was in all these Disney movies. He was in Gilligan's Island and stuff.
Oh,
but
I remember Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. I haven't seen that since I was like a little kid.
But so the whole thing is, like Disney loved Kurt Russell and was thought like he'd help save the company as far as like be star power and stuff. And I don't know, like he talked to like it was crazy. One of the last things they found was a piece of paper, and all it said was Kurt Russell, and it was this myth, like this urban legend in film
This means
for
something.
forever. And then, but Kurt Russell was on, I forget, he was on like Jay Leno or Letterman or something, but they asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, it's actually true. Like, I was a kid, or I was younger, and they brought me in a room, and they showed me the piece of paper. And I was like, that's weird. Why would they do that? That's just like, look at that. That's your name.
That's unusual. Yeah, I would be a little freaked out if I was a
Totally.
kid.
They were probably like, what does it mean, Kurt Russell? And he's like, I don't know. It's fun.
We're calling you into this office full of men you don't know to show you this piece of paper with your name on it, and you're going to tell us what it means, or we're going to kill you.
Exactly.
Or whatever it is, or strangle you with pixie wings or something. Whatever it is Disney people do to get the truth out of people.
That's funny. I hear
How would
that.
one do that?
What?
Wings?
You can strangle anyone with anyone.
Oh my God.
Oh, I see a picture now where JJ's just had a little question mark face on the Skype call.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
Oh that was a long time ago. I used to love to take pictures and draw over them. I haven't done that in a while.
Oh, I can't see it.
Haha, I'm special.
In many ways, Dark.
He rides the small bus.
I ride the small bus to school. The windows taste delicious. They must be. Have you ever seen those kids go at those windows? Just like they're made out of
Ew.
candy or something. World's biggest lollipop.
Oh my god, I'm not recording audio.
What?
I'm kidding.
I saw that coming. Hey, JJ, stop.
Why do you?
I don't think he would be one of the most difficult. We have had some, but that'd have been
On that
interesting.
notion, though, isn't it the worst whenever someone plays that joke to you, but when you're looking for something, you're like, I need this, I need my keys or my phone, like, right now, and you're looking, and someone's like, found it, and you're like, oh, God, thank God, and they're like, nah, I'm just kidding. You're like, die in a
Son of
fire.
bitch.
Yeah, that's the fastest way to get hit upside the head.
It's the worst time to do that joke.
I like it when that happens and it turns out you're like holding whatever it is you're looking for the whole time.
Oh, that happens a
Stupid
lot.
Look at your own hand.
Yeah, that happens a lot. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I've done that several times with my phone. I'm getting ready to walk out the house. I'm like, where's my phone? And I'm like looking all over the place, and then I go and I just look down at my hand. And like, oh god
Yeah.
damn it, I'm such an idiot.
You're like, I'm going to call my phone with
Or
my
it ends up
phone.
I'm sitting on what I'm looking for.
I guess that
No?
happens.
You sit on things that you look for quite often, there, Chaos?
Are you looking for your
No.
butt?
Oh God.
What?
Do you have a magic pocket there that you're not telling anyone about?
Yes.
I don't
Oh.
think
It
that's it.
can hold all sorts of things.
He's not getting it, Dark.
It can hold many things.
Just right over his head.
Yep. Or I'm purposely flying over.
Ray, you need to educate your boyfriend, fiance here.
I
know.
will, don't worry.
No, this one I am aware. I'm just standing over here.
Mm-hmm. Standing over there being lame. Okay, so none of you people saw Frozen. I'm all.
No, I really, really want to, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, totally.
Was the snowman not annoying? He looked like he was going to be annoying.
Yeah.
No, actually, he wasn't. He was not a main character. He came into the movie in the second act, and he was needed comic relief, but they didn't overdo it with him. That the whole preview that I saw with the where the moose is trying to eat his nose and they're on the ice. That's the only preview I saw.
Okay.
That's not even in the movie.
Huh.
I hate it when they do that. When they put the part in a commercial and it's never there.
In this
Well,
case,
I mean,
it's
fresh content.
They do that a lot, but you know what I hate is whenever they do a whole scenario in a movie and then you watch it on DVD and they used a whole nother version. And that happens a lot. That happens like on Anchorman and those like movies where they like riff a lot because they just probably had 20 different jokes that they liked and they had to narrow it down to one. And they're like, but I really like this one. We'll put that one on the DVD. And it sucks because sometimes you're just like, I got married to that in my head when I saw it in theaters. I really enjoyed it. So when I saw it on DVD, I'm like waiting for that moment, and you're like, it's totally different.
Have you guys ever seen the alternate version of Anchorman?
Yeah, there's a whole nother movie, and I hear they're doing the same thing with the second one.
They're just doing a complete. Thought they did like they just didn't like the first movie, and they had it done like an hour and a half movie, and they're just like, let's just completely redo it.
Well, no,
I didn't know they were just doing that for fun.
No, they just like those movies. A lot of the Apatow films, especially the is it Adam McKay and Will Ferrell? A lot of those movies like Talladega Nights and Anchorman, like they're just riffing. A lot of it is just kind of it's a rough script, and sometimes they'll like take a joke so far in a scene, they'll be like, "That's a great idea. Let's actually hire like extras and do a whole version of what you just joked about." And they'll just like because they've got money to burn anyway, so they'll do all these.
Yeah, those movies are really cheap to make.
They'll just do so many different jokes, and at the end of the day, they can only choose one of the versions. So, so what I hear is like Anchorman had two versions. I heard the second one will have be the same way. Well, they'll have so much footage they could make a whole other movie with it.
I see.
I think they did that with it was an animated movie, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. They had like two different versions of that movie on the DVD.
That's funny. I don't know how I feel about those movies. Like
it's horrible, but it's.
I think
kind of
good
funny.
at the same time.
I think I feel the same way I feel about that film approach as the way I feel about improv. Like seeing live improv is like if I can tell that you're just pulling shit out of your ass, then I'm not as entertained. Like I'm kind of like calling you out. But if you're so good at selling the idea that I have no idea that you're making it up as you go, then good job. But if I can tell you're just kind of pulling at stuff, then it just seems like a cheap movie.
Like a podcast.
Or a podcast, yeah.
Like a cheap podcast.
Yeah.
Who listens to cheap podcasts?
I don't know anything about those.
No, nobody might, but I certainly don't.
I run one.
Yeah.
Well,
we just went over this. We gave you the title of our PR expert something or other.
Executive.
I just did all the frickin' social media stuff. I tagged everybody on Twitter, and so I'm doing your job for you, buddy.
Actually,
thank you.
Twitter's Mr. Fusion's job.
Oh.
I don't know who
no,
that
Mr.
He's like-
Fusion's the
he's
audio
like dead.
editor.
He's the Fusion guy.
Yeah.
He's
We need
never
to
had
everybody
it.
give a shout out to Mr. Fusion, who has been sick with what was it, bronchitis?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So his sexy voice has not been able to grace two podcasts in a row, but he should be back at least good enough to lend his voice to us next week, hopefully.
So I'm basically campaigning for his spot right now.
Yes, you could. If he dies, you could be a potential replacement.
I won't be the random guest. I'll just be main cast.
Yep, you'll
Nice.
be Mr. Fusion's replacement if he kicks the bucket. If this turns into pneumonia and he just.
Oh wait, he's on the feed.
Sorry,
forbid.
Mr. Fusion.
Oh, I'll be back next week. Nice try, though.
Son of a bitch.
Love
So
you.
has this podcast started?
Yes, it's been going for a while.
Okay. Are there
Welcome to the show.
Are there questions or categories? Or are we just riffing it around?
It's usually just a free form, and sometimes, like for example, we have the chat right here. If people have questions or want to chime in, then they can.
Mhm.
But it's more of a relaxing chat than a direct on topic like the patch.
Unless there was something you wanted to talk about, JJ.
No.
Oh yeah, of course.
Wait. So, like, when you say the users and stuff, is there a chat right now beyond our chat?
Yeah, there's a Twitch chat.
Oh, well, can you guys link me to that?
Sure.
I got it.
Anyone even there?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it. That's for sure. Link.
Accepted.
So Fing Fang Fark has a question. He says, "Who the fuck are you guys, and why am I listening to this?" So does anybody want to answer that?
Oh.
We are the Forum Thread Podcast, and you will worship us as if we were gods.
Or as if you were one of the moderators of our Rooster Teeth group. Because you are.
Good
Don't
enough.
read it.
Oh yes, Mr. Fusion, we knew it was you. Duh.
Yes.
No,
Mind
we should
blown.
just keep on.
So, did anybody get into the beta for the website?
I did.
Wait.
For RT.
Wait.
You did?
Back up. What about this beta for the website?
Oh,
For
yeah,
Rooster
your
Teeth?
email, I
So
never
they
followed
set
it.
out. Adam from the site posted a journal about inviting people to a beta, just taking a look at the new website. So it's like early version of it.
I'm excited about this.
that.
I really.
Have you gotten to experience any of the new changes, JJ?
Yeah, I posted it the other day, and it was fun making a post on a website. It was actually really fun, and it looks really cool. But yeah, I think I posted something like the new cool thing about JJ 2.0 is. Or some, I don't know. I'm not going to ruin the joke for you. Just go check it out whenever you get on the website.
Sure.
We
But
will look at that
I
immediately.
cannot wait to see that puppy on a phone.
That's
on a mobile.
yeah. It's
That's
you
dope.
can. It's supposed to like work completely with mobile devices. And Ben
that'd be
and the Adams and everyone involved have been doing a really great job. I miss Ben. He was my buddy when he was here, and now he's gone.
You did some very funny recaps with him.
Oh man, Ben was great, and yeah,
What
I miss him.
What was it like? 4 weeks in a row, you had him drinking a different giant alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, well, I didn't do any of that. I was just holding up.
Oh, he does that on
I
his
was
own?
just holding up the mirror to society, and but no, yeah. So yeah, Ben just ended up the recaps. He was always down. We'd always be like, "Hey, I think we're gonna go downtown tonight," and he'd be like, "Oh, I'll see you guys down there." And we got him in a bunch of Ben likes to mix up his drinks every now and then on camera. I remember one time we were doing a shoot in the office, and he was going to slide in the shot with a drink while one of the Adams was talking, and I was like, yeah, just go make a fake drink or whatever, like put some Coke and like a little highball and drink it. And he was like, no, fuck that, I'm gonna make a drink. and it was like early in the day, and I was like, how about it?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I abide by that rule.
5 o'clock in
daily.
England.
Country music's great.
No.
No, it's not.
What?
Whoa. What country music?
Well,
Yeah, you
None.
must be specific.
the song he just quoted is pretty good.
What song did you just quote?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I've never heard. Is that a new song?
No, it's an old song.
JJ.
That's oh god.
Everybody. Yeah, I thought everybody knew that song, but no. Apparently,
wow.
JJ doesn't.
I just
You're not
face
missing
palmed you.
anything. Don't pour through the country music archives to try and find it. You'll go through a lot of garbage.
You literally just write it's 5 o'clock somewhere and you find it. There's not much shifting for any garbage.
No, this is
Oh my god.
modern
You're
day.
talking about an Alan Jackson and a Jimmy Buffett song? Come on, you're gonna talk about old country and like make me feel dumb for not knowing that. That's not exactly like Johnny Cash, It's Alan Jackson and Jimmy Buffett.
Johnny Cash is ancient.
No,
So
but
before you Googled it, did you know who they were?
I know country music. I'm from fucking Texas. I know country music, and I know good country
Right,
music.
right.
Sorry.
There is no good country music.
Bullshit.
Hey,
Ooh, Ray.
wow.
Be careful. You might insult JJ's, sensitive ego.
It's very sensitive.
The inner country boy.
Well,
gotta
I'm
be
from
gentle,
I'm from
Ray.
South Texas, okay, and I love all music. I love classical music. I love punk rock. I love mod. I love French New Wave. I love anything you can put movies to. If it's a good scene, I love that music.
You
But
like dubstep?
oh no, fuck dubstep. Sorry, I said music. I didn't say printers humping.
Oh.
That's a
think
fantastic way to describe dubstep. Printers humping.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to use that
Yes,
in conversation.
No,
at some
there
point in time.
are some great country songs. You probably just don't know them yet. It comes with age, actually. Like the older you get, you end up listening to stuff you would never give a shit about, and you're just like, I actually kind of like this. Because when I was younger, I was listening to like Deftones and like No Effects and punk rock, and now I find myself listening to like Harry Nilsson and Elvis Costello, and it's a weird thing. It comes with age. It's stupid. I
actually used to listen to country music when I was younger. And then right around what ruined it for me, I think I've mentioned this in a past podcast, what ruined it for me was what happened after the whole 9/11 fiasco and country got incredibly political and gushy
fun.
and just like, I can't listen to this anymore, and I just kind of dropped it.
Well,
dropped it off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I think it was Alan Jackson who had a song, and it was called like www.mayamarie, and I was like, did you just put a fucking URL in a country song? How dare you, sir?
I remember that. Yeah, that was in that same period of time.
Yeah.
Up until then, I still kept country in my repertoire of things I would listen to because I like pop. Rock, punk rock, classical music. The only thing I really don't care for is gospel or oldies. Some oldies, but not most oldies. But yeah, once 9/11 came around and that type of country started coming out, I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I've got to check out.
Well, I used to go on tour with a lot of bands, and there was a weird time around that time. Whenever my rock and roll friends, started dressing like in, pearl snap shirts and boots, and then all the country stars I saw like on TV were wearing like affliction shirts with skulls, and they had cuffs on their hands, and they were dyeing their hair and stuff, and I was like, what is going on? Like the
world's gone crazy.
Yeah, my rock and roll friends are going all country, and the country guys are going all rock and roll. What the fuck? Anyway, okay, but I saw that question that was asked in the chat and then also via Skype. The question was, what was my favorite recap to make? There's been a lot of them. It's funny because some of the ones you put a lot of your time and soul into, like they do so-so, and then some of the ones that you really just kind of run and gun and don't spend too much time in end up being like these huge hits, and so you never know. Like you never know which ones are gonna pop, and that goes for all kinds of art and work. So like the ambush and the staff one was just such a busy week, and I've been doing so much more live action and stuff that I sometimes I have to do the recap very last minute or what happens, whatever. But so the ambush and the staff one was a lot of fun just because it was so just like fly by fire, like running around seeing what happened, and it was just kind of an experiment. Like in my head, it was going to work. And I remember when Matt came by and he was showing the offices off to somebody like kind of checking out the office, and he was like, "What are you up to?" And I had all these papers printed out, and I was putting them on my clipboard, and I was trying to explain to him what the idea was, and he was just like, "Oh my gosh, that's going to be really good." and then Bernie was the one who came up to me afterwards, like on the Monday after that it aired, and he was like, "That was awesome. You have to do it." He's like, "You have to do it again, and I want to be in it, but don't tell me, but you need to do it again." So that was cool.
Awesome.
I think my favorite so far was the time travel one with Barbara.
That one
amused me so much, man.
That one was fun because up until then I'd kind of been coming on every now and then and working on the recaps. Like it was always kind of a hodgepodge of people, mostly either Kyle or Lindsay or just whoever had time. And I kind of came on as an editor, and the very first one I did ever, completely just by myself and just doing it weird, was the Jordan and the Park one. Mm-hmm. Which is still one of my favorites because we were just kind of having fun with it. But I kept doing some with like Kathleen and some other people. But so that one with Barbara and the Time Machine was the first one after like I talked to like Brandon and Chris and everyone, and I told them like I really want to be in charge. I didn't say I want to be in charge of the recaps. I was like I really want to do the recaps. Like you
want that opportunity?
Yeah, because it was kind of turning into this like, well, who's free this week and who has time? And I was like, I just want them. Like I want the recaps.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, man, have at it. Yeah, they're like, have at it.
I mean, that's cool, man. It shows a lot of initiative.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just like, they're like, I just saw it as an opportunity to go crazy and just do whatever you wanted to do. You can make it like kind of like live event kind of stuff, or you could get really kind of high concept with it. So the first one that I had like free for all, this is like my first, go at them, was the Barbara one. And I felt like everyone before then, we were just kind of running around. You'd see people at the office. It was whatever. So I didn't want to just do another run around the office thing. So I thought, let's stick ourselves in one room, just one small room, and we'll see what happens. We'll make funny out of one room. And then and I had the idea of I always had the idea for doing a Time Machine recap. I just always wanted someone to travel to the beginning of the recap. I always thought that would be such a funny idea.
So how is that like the device made?
Oh, that was all Kara. Actually, Kara deserves all the tweets and your awesomes and messages that everyone can give her. She is super rad, and on top of being Weiss and just being awesome around the office, like she's also like the brains behind a lot of our live action stuff, as far as like shorts and props and stuff. So I told her I needed a time machine. She did the time machine for me, and she did the rocket pack for Blaine and that bad green screen one we did. So yeah, but she's great. She's just like, okay, so what do you need? I'm like, I need this blah blah blah, like in a day or two. And she's like, all right, I got ideas. And she'll come back, and I'll forget about it, and I'll walk in the studio, and I'll see her like putting this thing together. I'll be like, oh my god, that's amazing. I think the only thing I did to the time machine was I put like yellow tape around it to make it look like it was all taped together. But everything else, everything else was all Kara.
She did
it
such
really
a good
stood
job
out on its own. I think that one because it really felt more of like a story, kind of skittish, and just kind of like interjected kind of this news segment kind of thing, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, we definitely want to do more, and it's great. It's great not having something to be tied down to. Like we don't have characters that we have to show over and over. Like there's no every now and then we'll throw nods to our storyline. Like the animated recap, the not animated recap was very. It wasn't planned, but during the week I was like, well, if we're gonna do the not animated recap, then this is the only week when it'll be funny. Because the animated recap was great. Like it just it just went beyond all walls, and we always talked about doing something like that. So it was one of those things where it didn't matter who you were, like you enjoyed it because it was just fun to see that.
Especially the two very different types of animations interacting.
Yeah, and then also like kind of showing off the Minecraft animations that we were playing with that Chris Dyke made for us. And I purposefully didn't show Gavin and Jeff's Minecraft characters in the thumbnail because I wanted the crowd to be surprised.
Now, is that the guy who was doing those kind of animations on like YouTube?
Yeah, I think he has. I don't know. He has some name he goes by, but his name's Chris something. But I know his real name is. No, his real name is.
Kudos to Chris.
No. His
Mine Chris something on YouTube.
His real name is Chris Dyke, Dike. But his user like. I remember I saw a lot of comments in Reddit, and people were like, "Oh, is this like Chris Dark or Chris Death or Chris something?" And I was like, "Oh, is that what he goes by?" Because I just know him by his real name because I've been emailing him, Yeah, but so he has some kind of persona he goes by that apparently he does nothing but Minecraft animations like that, and apparently they're really, really awesome.
He's not the one that did the Minecraft parody of the Gundam style song, is he?
I have no idea.
That's Captain Sparkles or something.
Oh. Well, okay, never mind. Continue with your story.
I think that was it.
That was the end of your story.
I think so. Okay. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I will say yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Right. That was a fantastic story. I felt a little lost there in the middle because I'm one of those horrible people that don't actually watch all the videos that Rooster Teeth puts out.
Yeah, dude, you're a
Well, I didn't know I was missing so much. I thought the recap was more like a news show, like up until just recently. I didn't know it was like this a lot cooler of a production because I saw the first episode and I assumed it was going to be just kind of like what the RT News is now.
Well, you know what
happens running through topics.
Well, that's been kind of the thing.
Well, to his credit, a lot of them have been kind of just straightforward and just kind of letting you know, hey, did you know that we saw this video? And I don't mean to knock on that style because it worked for a long time. I just saw it as an opportunity to add like some characters, some jokes, some storylines, some cool shots. But the whole thing is now because it's a soft sell because you're watching a long commercial for Rooster Teeth shows. So you don't want to feel like you're watching a long commercial for Rooster Teeth shows. You want to feel like you're watching something that has some sort of, weight to it and is entertaining. And then at the end of the day, you're also just got sold a bunch of stuff. But but the whole point is to make it a fun ride.
That does make a big difference. In a way, that's kind of what Disney does to everybody. They just give us a movie.
Yeah, that's what everyone does.
To sell merchandise. I mean, yeah, if you don't feel like you're being advertised to for the whole thing, it's like, hell yeah, that's worth it. Totally.
Well, I mean, every single time you wear like a Coke shirt or a logo shirt, you're just like, I'm doing free advertising for whoever it is that I bought this shirt from. So I paid them to advertise. It's like every single time you wear an RT shirt.
Yeah, at least I could feel less guilty about wearing an RT shirt than I could wearing a Coke or Mountain Dew shirt, which I do have. I do have a Mountain Dew shirt.
Same.
Actually, I'm wearing Mountain Dew pajamas right now. I feel kind of dirty now. So I paid money for this to advertise for a company that takes my money when I actually buy stuff. I'm a brainwashed masses.
Awesome.
What?
I mean, Mountain Dew is pretty awesome.
Let's face the fact.
No.
It pretty much is. It's like pure sugar and caffeine mixed with the tears of angels.
Yeah, where's the downside there?
There really is no downside. Except for the fact that, I don't know, maybe those people trying to blame obesity on it or something, but...
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if is it really fat-causing, or is it just unhealthy for your body?
It's all of that, dude. It's all of the things.
Yeah.
It's terrible for you. There's not a good thing in it.
Can you pronounce the ingredients in Mountain Dew? That's the question.
High fructose corn syrup, dude.
That's the only one. Out of all the ingredients in it, that's the only one. And then when they put...
Like, if you were looking for a flavor of that, Mountain Dew is the flavor of high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, then they put in captions, like yellow #1, right next to whatever the word is. And I actually read somewhere that, the yellow that they use to dye a lot of foods actually comes from coal tar.
Nom nom nom.
That's interesting.
From Reptar?
Coal tar. Reptar.
Yes.
It'd be green.
That'd be awesome if it was Reptar.
Oh my god. He did make a Rugrats comment.
Oh, it was...
My childhood is coming rushing back to me now. This always happens when I drink.
Maybe it was an All Grown Up reference. I'm kidding. I hate that show. No, I don't want to see the... I don't want to see the Rugrats grown up. That's a stupid concept.
It was weird.
If I wanted to watch the Rugrats grown up, I would have watched Doug.
Yeah. Doug was a cool show until Disney took it over.
I agree.
He vanished at that point. I don't know what happened.
I found out.
I remember there was the last episode of Doug on Nickelodeon was a graduation episode. It was like, oh, I just made these characters look old, and then you realize, oh, they're graduating from 6th grade. That's really weird.
That is weird. I read on Reddit that on this website called Reddit that I heard of. But I heard that the Mr. Dink, hey Douglas.
Hello, Douglas.
Very expensive.
Yeah, him.
Very expensive, Douglas. Yeah. But I heard that his name DINK was it was initials for double income, no kids, because that's how he had all the money to spend to buy all the stupid stuff, and it makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because everyone knows that children ruin your lives.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's a fact. Just ask my mother; she'll tell you. Well, she'll lie and say, "No, children are the best thing ever." But I'm so glad you two are grown up.
Speaking of mothers, now wait for the explanation.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
I'm hanging on every word now.
Speaking of mothers, every now and then we've had. I don't think we do tours anymore or as much, but every now and then we'd always have some young buck come in with his mom or his family, kind of like touring the office. And it was. I remember definitely whenever I was new, like whenever I first came on around last year, kind of full time working on the Gauntlet season 1. There would be these kids coming in, and I was getting so used to this idea of just working at some – because I've worked in a lot of studios and offices, and the idea that people tour where you work is very foreign to me. So every now and then you hear like these kids like geeking out and their parents would be asking like, well, blah, 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 did you go to –
What do you do here?
Yeah, exactly. Or like, did you go to college and yada, yada, yada. And I'd always be like, well, I did not per se, but there are a lot of people here. There are a lot of people here that did, and everyone has a different path and yada, yada, yada. And then the mom sometimes would look over the kids and be like, well, see, there you go. Not everyone has to do the same thing and blah, blah, blah. And you can still get where you want to be in life. And I'd always want to pull out my phone and be like, excuse me, can you do me a favor? Can you just call my mom and tell her exactly what you said to me right now? Like, that would be awesome.
It's like, listen, look, these guys didn't have to go to college.
So
we don't have to pay for your college.
And a lot of the RT guys are actually UT alumni. But yeah, everyone takes their own route. I've just always had a camera, even whenever I was super young. So I've just been doing it no matter what.
It's good to follow your passion like that. And usually when you find something you enjoy as a kid, it usually sticks with you throughout life because it feels like a reason it's calling to you, right?
Definitely. Well, there's the thing is like, and you can say this for any kind of medium, but yeah, sure, you can go to school and pay a lot of money for someone to tell you what films to watch or tell you, how to like turn a camera on or focus or how to focus your lens, but they're not going to tell you how to tell a good story. They're not going to tell you how to like get certain reactions out of people, how to they're not going to tell you how to hone your own style. Like I think Tarantino said it best, like, I didn't go to film school, I went to films. Like there's so many times where I talk to people about movies and they're like, "Oh yeah, like I remember my professor made me watch that movie. It's pretty good." And you're like, "Wow, your professor made you watch that?" Like I watched it because I wanted to see Doctor Strangelove and now I love it. Like, so when I watched the movie, it wasn't homework for me. I was watching this movie because I was studying the shots, just because I was such a...
That would not be fun, to watch a movie because you're forced to. Completely change my opinion.
Oh, that happens all the time, man. I used to get mad when people would show me their homework. I always get, like, whenever, you're showing your videos to your friends and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, check this out." And it's just like, well, you can always tell someone who has a passion for something versus someone who, like, does it enough, because they'll show you work that they did, but it's always years ago. Like, I'm like, here's a music video I did last month. They're like, "Oh, hey, check it out. Here's a short film I did." I'm like, "That's pretty good. When'd you make that?" They're like, "Oh, that was like 3 years ago in school." And you're like, well, then maybe you're not really supposed to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big sign. If you're still not doing it because you're pursuing other things that actually do interest you, that's a sign. Don't try and pursue it. You're not going to be happy.
I could disagree a little bit with that. I mean, at any point you can just like take on a new interest and you can give it your all. I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to get into it. You're young or go to. Of course,
totally.
You
hear stories like that all the time, where people like end up being a really great musician or filmmaker. Like people that have made some great films, like Shane Carruth and other people like that who
came out of like
nowhere. Like I think Shane Carruth before he did Primer was like an engineer or something, or he was just doing something random. There's always filmmakers or writers, and like Chuck Palahniuk who did Fight Club. I think he was like. He had some like dead end job, and he took like a short class, like a short writing class, short story class, and he ended up being Fight Club. And it's this whole thing where like every now and then something you try something new and you end up being really awesome at it. But that's not what I'm not saying to try the other avenues is a bad thing. I'm saying to not follow the one avenue that you keep telling people is your avenue is kind of shitty.
Right.
Like if you keep telling people, "Oh, I'm a filmmaker. Oh no, I'm a filmmaker," and you're like, "Well, you paid the money. You
made a film.
You paid the money. That doesn't necessarily make you a filmmaker."
Yeah, there's a difference. You can.
You're a sponsor.
It's like the difference between I don't know what's a good comparison here. Okay, so you have two pop artists, two female pop artists. We've got Britney Spears versus Demi Lovato, or Lovato, however the fuck she says her last name. Britney Spears, you can tell she doesn't really have any passion. She just does it to make the money. Maybe when she was younger she did, but she just does it to make the money. But you can tell by the songs she sings and the way she sings it, it's just there to make cash. Demi Lovato, on the other hand, she may have had a similar start as Britney with the Disney Origins. I think that was her, maybe. Similar start. But when you listen to her sing, you can tell that she's actually involved in her lyrics. And even if she doesn't write them herself, she feels them when she sings it. And that makes all the difference in the medium, from producing something mechanically to make money to actually doing something because you can connect with it, feel it, and then make your listeners feel it. And it's obvious. It's really obvious if you compare the two. Oh, I can feel it, definitely. I challenge you, Ray, to listen to a Demi Lovato song.
I don't like her.
You have no soul, so that doesn't surprise me.
I really don't.
And you called me replaceable.
I'm the laugh track. Shut up.
Yeah, Ray
we
contributes.
We already have plenty of your laughing.
I'm silently laughing and shaking my head over here. I'm pulling my hair a little too, just because like we were talking about like the integrity of artistry, and we were talking like about like like the people that do it versus the people that like kind of half-ass it, whatever. And then I realized that that the pinnacle of that conversation was talking about 2 Disney stars, and and I immediately looked around and was like, totally just like, how did I get here? How did we get here, guys? How did we get here?
That's just kind of how the
Welcome to the forum
What is
thread.
my life?
We
I
are
love it 'cause it's
literally
not-
a forum.
Oh, that's good. That's funny.
Do you guys want to give him a brief history of what the forum thread is?
Because we do this every week.
It's someone else's turn to tell that story.
We're a bunch of idiots.
Because no one liked my version.
We're
Your version was
a
really
bunch
good.
of idiots from a forum that end up getting deleted.
Nice.
Oh, you know what?
Now,
Your version
what are you
sucks.
talking about?
Wow.
Okay.
All right,
I'll tell-
all right. So what it is, basically, we're a bunch of friends that got together. We started posting in similar threads on the RT forum,
Uh-huh.
and eventually, a bunch of them got together, decided to make a podcast, named it after one of the threads called the Forum Thread, and now it's called the Forum Thread Podcast. And now we do this every week.
And this is show 37, so you've been doing this for less than a little over a year.
Yeah,
half a year.
we've had weeks, small gaps, but pretty much.
I think we've only missed
over
2 weeks.
A year of actual
Nice.
Pretty
content
consistent,
release.
yeah.
Now, I gotta touch upon something that's like, I know we're having fun, we're just joking around, we're telling stories, but like there is some real serious stuff going on out there in the world, and I just really just want to touch upon something really quickly before we leave this podcast.
But we can have
Sure.
serious time. That's okay.
And that
Oh, of
and
course.
that is that I am getting way too many messages from people
Shut up, JJ.
that are just saying sup.
JJ. Get out, JJ.
Ray,
I read that. I already commented. I knew what the fuck he was going to say.
What the hell are you talking
No,
about?
I'm talking.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
His recent journal.
God damn it.
I was
I'm
going to say
talking
it when he
about-
came on, but I forgot.
Well, yeah, I read the journal.
Okay, what happened?
I'm
Okay,
going to stop watching you now, JJ.
what happened is...
the thing is, like, I enjoy being known as someone who, like, will respond and chat and hang out with people, because it's fun for me. It's also because I'm a procrastinator and it helps me not do work, so that works. But also,
Delicious procrastination.
exactly. But also more so, I like to I'm not going to call myself an improv guy, but I like to like just kind of be off the cuff and just be like kind of silly, and it's like exercise for writing, and you're just constantly just kind of like, you know, if you get a bunch of messages and comments and you're always trying to find like kind of silly, funny little one-liners or comments or, you know, puns or something to reply with, it, you know, it kind of keeps you on your toes. So I enjoy like joking around and having fun with the community. What I don't enjoy is whenever, it's not that I don't enjoy it, it's just kind of like, oh, come on, you can do better than that. Is like when people send me they send me a message and all it says is sup, like question mark, or like what's up, or just whatever, because every now and then I'll get this really, really clever or well written question, or just a straightforward question like what's your favorite edited scene in a movie, or like what's your blah blah blah, or do you know anything about this movie, or have you heard any about this, I like this, do you think I would like any of these other kind of movies, and whatever. If you ask me about movies, I could dish for days. Like, I used to work at a video store. People would be like, what do you think we should watch tonight? I'd be like, well, what do you like? Like, what do you like? Who are your favorite actors? You know? Like, you know, I would totally, like, give them...
And then they'd run off scared because you're, like, going
No way,
crazy.
no, they'd come back. They'd come back and be like, okay, we want something scary this time, you know? And I'd be like, well, because there's a lot of movies that say they're scary, and there's very few movies that actually are fucking frightening.
Yeah.
So, anyway, my whole thing, I guess to sum up my issues with this epidemic is that if you're gonna,
You want people to really engage.
yeah, if you're gonna message me, at least just be clever about
Have
it,
content.
or have a content. Don't leave it up to me. Like I'm creating content all week long. Like at least meet me somewhere in the middle, and I'd love to joke around with you.
Preach it.
All right, sister.
Hallelujah! You ain't talking.
Praise flying Raptor Jesus.
Praise flying
So
spaghetti
actually,
monster.
I have a question along those lines. So, I mean, you've kind of like come up recently. You know, you kind of like I guess you started getting more like content to do, so you've been like more well known. So how have you kind of dealt with that? Just kind of like that quick burst of internet fame, and it's just like, you know, consistent throughout.
Wait, JJ
Since
is
then.
internet famous?
Relatively. It's
what's
Rooster Teeth, come on.
What's the best way of answering something like that without sounding like a douche, but trying to be as honest as possible?
Can't.
So I'm gonna try.
You put him in a corner. You should be ashamed of yourself, JJ. You don't have to.
Nobody puts JJ in a corner.
Oh,
and
never mind.
I look forward to that meme. It's a reference to a horrible movie called Dirty Dancing, which I've never seen, but I know that's what...
I got told that earlier today, too. They did the baby line at me.
Okay.
It was a horrible movie.
So you can expect lots of fun, cool, awesome things coming from JJ at Rooster Teeth in 2014. I've got a lot of stuff. I can't talk about a lot of stuff, but there is going to be some cool stuff happening. And I'm hoping to have some really fun stuff at the next RTX. I'd love nothing more than to have like a panel about the recaps where we just show a bunch of stuff that never got showed, like a bunch of mess ups and things that never aired. But also, I'd love to surprise the crowd and let them know that we are going to be filming the recap with them at the panel, and like make it super interactive and put like people like in little teams with gear and just I have crazy ideas on how to make it.
That would be pretty badass.
Make sure we're a part of your panel though.
Right. I'll try. I know a guy. Anyway,
he knows a guy that can get us connected somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just shut up, nobody.
Well, and then also let's see. Wait, what was I? Totally lost track of my mind. You're asking me about rising up and stuff. Well, here's the thing: is I don't let any of that stuff get to my head. I like to have fun. With it, like I'm a huge fan of like Andy Kaufman and just like joking around. Like wherever there's mischief to be had, that's where you'll find me. Like if I can joke around with anyone or pull anyone's leg, like I will definitely be there. And that's what's so fun about doing a lot of the videos for RT is like just messing with the community and the crowd and like leaving something in the Let's Build that you didn't have to leave in, but like because you know it's gonna get everyone commenting. Like, you know, people are like, why do you even put that in there? Like he could have cut that out. Why do you leave that in there? That's so weird. It's like, well, because you
know your audience.
Yeah, because you're like, well, because you're talking about it. It's not so much knowing your audience so much as like just knowing how to mess with people. The whole thing is like I edit videos to entertain people. Sure, I guess that's my job. But the truth is that everything I do, be it conversation or edits or anything I do, I'm just trying to entertain myself. And if I can get a chuckle out of it, then I'm happy. If it makes you guys laugh, that's cool too. But that's not what I'm going for.
Yeah, it's good to bounce it off what you think is funny, or else you won't enjoy it.
The whole thing is, it's like, but also I knew about Red versus Blue whenever it first started, and then I kind of dropped off from RT for a lot of years, and then it wasn't until I got hired to film RTX 2012 that and I knew about a lot of the shorts because my friends here in Austin were in part of them, like as actors and stuff, but yeah, so like coming up so fast has been it's been interesting, but to go on that is like I've also, a lot of people don't know this, but for 3 years here in Austin I was the host of like a midnight rock and roll show. And then for a year and then the year during that I was also like the face of this Toyota commercial for like, we did like I think 12 commercials and they were on like NFL on NBC and it was crazy. Oh, wow. So I did that.
By face, do you mean your face was on it or you were the one doing it?
I was the actor on it.
Oh really?
Yeah. And then also like, and I've been on like I've been on like What Would You Do, the hidden camera show as an actor. I've been on like this one show on ABC called My Generation that got canceled. I played like the punk rock boyfriend. Like I've been in stuff, but I've also directed.
So you're used to it.
No, yeah, I'm used to like going around and people being like, "Oh, hey, I love your rock and roll show," like blah blah blah. And but here's the thing: is like most of the Rooster Teeth crowd, they're like a lot of Austin doesn't even know we exist. We're like kind of a silent studio. Like not many, people know we exist, but we're not. It's not kind of well known. So. Like I saw Bernie at HEB the other day, like which is a grocery store, and it's the one. It was the one right near our places, and it's just Bernie and me just talking about hey, what's up, groceries, whatever. But like, it's like Bernie couldn't just be walking around at like RTX like that, and it's interesting. Like most of our, you'll run into people every now and then, but it's not like.
Most of the fans aren't exactly the type that we walking about. Also,
they're in their house.
That's a good point.
Many introverts. Yes.
Yeah, that's
on their computers at home. Except for those select few of us that actually get out there and see people.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm seeing Nobod writing shit in the comments. Is he leaving?
Yeah,
he quit.
All right.
Bye.
Adios, Snowbod.
Nice.
Wait, did he just... He calls you all by your freaking usernames, and he calls me by my real name.
Yeah.
I hate that
That's
guy.
endearing. No, it means he likes you.
Ray's my real name too.
Oh, that's true. Because you're one of those people that use your real name on the site.
Yeah, you weirdo. What's up with that?
I think that's so weird.
Well, it's because it really works as a good username too, and because of its similarity to
That
Ray.
is true. That is true.
It's not
There was just like
R-A-Y,
that-
it's R-A-E.
there was just-
Yeah, I'm the female.
There was just that wave of people on the site that all wanted to use they wanted their names as their usernames.
Yeah, I was there when
And
that
it
happened.
makes sense for like the cast, obviously,
Fuck
but
off.
there was just like
I
a
like
huge
my
race
name.
for those.
It'd be
I mean,
funny
it's
if someone
it's a
named
great
Ray
name.
joined another Ray joined the crew.
No.
And you had to change it.
Be like, sorry, Ray, you got booted out.
No, it's mine. I
You'd have to
stole it
switch your
from
name to
someone else.
Rachel.
No,
Who wants
fuck
to use
that.
the word Rachel?
Wouldn't it be funny if Ray dated Ray?
Sorry, David.
We have to say our own names at night. Oh, that's a little weird.
Well, I'm just.
No,
Do
you're
you, Ray, take Ray to be your lawful...
Well, you know, actually, it wouldn't be weird. It wouldn't be weird. Well, it'd only be weird when you were with other people.
what's the shipping? They combine the names, so you'd be Ray Ray,
Well, I want to say
and
Ray.
you can hang out with JJ.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
it's true.
All right, I'm done.
That would be cray cray.
And on that note, good night. No.
Done.
Go out on a high note, just like George.
You people are horrible. Absolutely
Hey, I would
horrible.
take Ray. I'm just saying.
I need wine. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, get some wine. Have some wine for me. I'm drinking beer right now. I actually had a shitty day at work today, so I'm like, yeah, I need a drink. Lots of drinking.
Bad day.
Yeah, stupid people calling in on the phone. Jeez. So yeah, we're rolling out a new version of our software, and some people just don't know how to adapt to it properly. And so they're like, "Look, we didn't want this to happen. We want compensation." We're like, "Dude, you know, updates happen. It's a part of life." Like, there's people that are there that we pay to make your life easier. You know, talk to them. Don't talk to me. And then, what was it? I don't even remember. It was stupid. But this guy, like, kept on making these polite comments about how he wanted compensation for something. I'm like, I'm not going to give you compensation. And then when I wasn't going anywhere, he started making fun of my chuckling over the phone. Because,
Oh,
you know,
no.
when you're trying to talk to someone, you're trying to keep it lighthearted, even though it's, they may be having an issue. You're trying to be conversational. He's like, I don't appreciate you giggling at me. And I'm like, I find that very disrespectful. I'm like, ah. And he's like, and then he demanded an explanation as to why I kept on giggling at him. I'm like, look, I'm not giggling at you. It's just what I do when someone is putting me on the spot, and I'm not exactly comfortable with the situation. You know, we all have our strange little idiosyncrasies. And this is just mine. So I apologize if you're offended by it, but this is just me. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, well, my mother, she laughs in inappropriate situations as well, so I understand where you're coming from. Like, you son of a bitch.
You think your day was weird? I saw one of my bosses walking around with half a beard for no reason.
Half a beard?
Wait,
You didn't take a picture?
have you guys?
You win.
Have you guys not?
Oh,
have
no.
you guys not seen the patch yet, or is that not out public?
I haven't watched.
I was at work when the patch was airing.
I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah, I was.
I
I was walking from the annex to the main office, and I see Gus walking towards me, and he's like scratching his face, and I'm like, hey, Gus, are you guys gonna be doing the patch with so and so, blah blah blah? And he's like, yeah, and he walks by, and he puts his hand down, and I see that he has half his beard, like right down the fucking middle.
It's like,
Did he give an explanation?
And I just looked at him, and I just put my hands up, and I said, you know what? I don't need any context. And he goes, you're gonna find out sooner or later. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna get coffee, and that was that.
So did you find out what it was? Was it on the patch?
Yeah, it was
probably
on the patch. I think some fancy razor or shave company paid him to shave half his beard.
Oh, wow.
So he was bought out. He shaved half of his face because he got bought out.
He'd probably be proud to say that, too.
Oh, totally, super proud of that. You know, well, I don't want to say I don't want to talk about how nice Gus is because I know everyone always likes to pretend that he's such an asshole.
No. I was around early enough to know Gus before he took on the asshole persona. I know the truth.
Yeah, that guy's super rad.
Yeah, I mean, he plays Simmons. Come on.
Well, it's like when we did the ambush and the recap, one of the first people we ran up to was Gus, and he was so cool to play along with it, and he was smiling and stuff. So much so that when we used him on the second one, he made sure to, like, come off as a dick.
You have to tell him to be mean. That's funny.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned this before in a past podcast, but Gus is actually is my personal favorite of all the cast and crew.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I really don't know why, but he always has been.
Everyone is different, man. Like, everyone is super, like, I would say Matt is the, like, last one that I really got to know, pretty cool, and working with him when I was directing the Hunger Games video was really awesome. And he's just such a great leader. Bernie's Bernie, always, day in and day out. He's always Bernie, and it's awesome. Sometimes, he's just like, you'll be shooting a shoot, and you'll turn to your right, and he's just like in your face. He's like, JJ, and you're like, hey, Bernie, for no reason, just because we're similar in the sense we just like to kind of fuck with people. Joel's just always random. Joel's random. You never know. And sometimes, yeah, like sometimes he's really, but like I don't know, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong. He's just you never know.
No, you're not just saying this because they're higher on you in the pecking order. You don't want to piss them off.
No. I'll be completely honest. No, I love Joel. It's just like I think I had some friends working with me with RTX 2013. I was in charge again of doing all the footage. Most people said they met me at RTX, but I was always running around, and that's definitely true. I was totally hustling, and we were getting those videos out like 24 hours after like we shot them. So that was a fun time, but also I had no time to kind of hang out. I'm gonna totally make sure that I make time to hang out next year. But I remember at one point Joel was sitting behind my chair, and my friend Jen was working on the computer, and I left for a while, and then she said it was weird when you left because Joel was like, she didn't even know who Joel was, or she never met Joel, and Joel just said, "Where's JJ?" And she was like, "I think he's in the bathroom," and he goes, "I miss him again." It was so okay, and I used to be so scared of Jeff. I was scared of everyone when I first worked there because I was a hired gun. Like I wasn't brought on, like I wasn't an intern. Like I wasn't like, hey, I really really love you guys. I know everything you guys done. Like I just want to hang out around you and like do whatever there is to do. Not to say that Blaine's like that. He is, but I was a hired gun. I was brought in specifically to edit and do contract work for them. So I knew who they were from like RTX and from the internet and stuff. But like, so I was like kind of.
You didn't know too much about.
I didn't know how to behave around them. You know what I mean? Like so, because you have like your Miles and your Dustins and your Kyles and the younger guys who you can just kind of fuck around with. But like whenever they'd kind of walk in and I always not know how to play it. And Jeff was the one that I was always kind of like scared shitless of because. Like, he's the kind of, like, he wouldn't, he's not mean or anything. Just when you walk by him, he's just kind of like, just goes get his coffee and walks right by, and you're just like, do I say hi? Do I not say hi? Like, does he hate me?
Like he's that guy at the office you just can't quite figure out.
But so when they asked me to start doing stuff for Achievement Hunter, I was like, sure. More so because I felt like I'd gotten a chance to work with everyone except for Jeff. And then, that's been really great working on Let's Builds with him. And we have this total, like, Martin Scorsese, Mick Jagger relationship where we, like, appreciate and respect each other, like, and we enjoy each other, but, like, we don't get too close. And it's not like I don't go drinking with him and Gavin or anything like too much or anything. I see Jeff all the time, actually, in social situations. Me and him and like Griffin and like my friends, like we all hang out at the same bars and same places. We kind of travel in that same clique. So I'll run into him every now and then socially. But Jeff is the sweetest fucking man. Like he is the dirtiest mouth, and he's a dirty old man. But he is the sweetest, nicest guy, and he doesn't care. Like he just, I mean, he cares, but he's just like, you're like, hey Jeff, I fucked up this edit. It might not be up till later today. Like, he's like, oh, dude. He'll be like, hey man, like whatever, put it up tomorrow if you have to. And you're just like, oh, he's so chill. Like he's so awesome.
I have a confession to make about Jeff. When For the longest time, I thought his name was pronounced Geoff.
Geoff.
Because of
the G.
Because of the E there, the unnecessary letter in his name.
Well,
Seriously.
I mean, before early on, they didn't do a lot of audio stuff, so they didn't say their names audioly out loud. I guess that's audioly is not a word, but
audio, yeah. Yeah, and
audibly.
Yeah, because
I'm not
the
a complete
community
idiot.
is online too. It's like whenever anyone talks about it, it's like, yeah, I say it in my head, but can't hear how anybody else says it. And so during the last Rooster Teeth, I wound up I don't remember, it was a Let's Play, or there was something going on. I'm like, oh look, yeah, there's Geoff, and I think it was Chaos who was standing there like, who? What the fuck? And he's like, you mean Jeff? I'm like, oh, is that how he says his name?
Yeah, it helped that I was brought into Rooster Teeth on the Fails of the Week, where they always introduce their names.
Nice.
So it was never a problem for me, but I can see how it might be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and who's making the banging noises? Ray, is
Ray.
that you? Are you making noises with your sex toys?
No,
Whoa! Whole nother podcast now.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised these weren't brought up earlier. Honestly, I mean, it usually doesn't take an hour to get into this.
Well, JJ's been talking. We haven't had time to talk about Ray's sex life.
Sorry about that.
Sure.
or lack thereof, considering Dave is in Texas.
This is true. But then again, would he?
When are you guys hanging out again?
Would he actually put out though? That's the question.
No,
Dirty
not
laundry.
till we get married. I'm going back to Texas on the 30th.
Oh.
We need to get you two hitched so he will finally put out.
Why the hell would you buy the cow without even having some of the milk?
Yeah,
I've
not even
asked the
sampling
same
it.
question.
You can find out that you hate milk.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow,
never know.
But
that
then,
has a lot of meaning.
but and then you're stuck
So
with the cow.
sorry, Chaos.
Yeah, right. I've asked the same question, but he's like, I don't know. It's always some bullshit answer, something about
When is the wedding, and how do we get invited, or how do we just show up?
How do we get
Can I be
invited?
the bridesmaid?
Fuck yeah, that was my
Well,
idea.
if you drive down to Georgia,
Drive.
then you could.
Well,
Drive.
the wedding will be in
Who
Georgia. We're having
drives
a
that far?
reception
We'll
in
fly.
Texas. We're moving to fucking Austin.
Yeah, there we go.
Tis a great place.
It is awfully nice. I've only visited there once, and that was last year, but I really enjoyed the time that I spent there.
I do like it.
It was in Austin, Houston, and San Antonio, and I think that Austin was my favorite of the three.
Definitely. We should.
A lot of great shit going
we
on
should
there.
really preach. I know we were just joking around with Ray, but for the listeners and for all the people that are gonna listen to this and then have lives and relationships, don't buy the cow.
Do not buy the cow until you have sampled the
There's
milk.
a lot of different cows. You might find out you like sheep or lambs.
Polygamy is the
You know what?
way.
I don't like where this metaphor is going. It's getting really bestiality.
I like it. I like where this metaphor is going. We need to keep going.
Someone is a furry or a brony.
The
But
brony's
it's-
left,
it's-
the furry's still here.
Well, you're all
Nobot is the
pony
main
fans.
brony in this group, and he's gone already.
Yeah.
I associate with the group,
Nice.
but so I guess I'm kind of one. But
Well,
If you like the show, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a full-on
Brony.
anything. It just means you are a fan of the show.
yeah, I like the
So
show.
what's a girl brony?
A brony.
term for it,
Delta
actually.
Sword.
Oh no! I remember now. I saw a video about this. They're called the Pegasisters.
Oh wow.
Pegasisters.
Wait,
Yes.
I see. That's better. That's more clever.
wait. Delta's Word. I know that he probably wants to be called Delta Sword, but I'm pretty sure that his name is Delta's Word because that's way less cool.
Delta's Word.
So Delta's Word. And the Twitch chat he just said something that made me laugh. He said, "I want 44 horsewives." Very funny, Delta's Word.
That was actually really good. I had no idea he had such a good sense of humor. My hat goes off to you.
Now he's complaining that you said his name wrong.
Oh, who
What?
cares?
The word of Delta.
It's Delta's Word. Yeah, I've seen that name several times, and I always pronounced it properly in my head, Delta Sword. But now that you've brought it up, It's now forever.
Delta's word.
Delta's word.
When things are typed out, it's so hard. Like what you guys were saying earlier with names. The same could go for like video game characters that they never say their names out loud because Street Fighter and stuff. You spend years going like, well, that guy's name's like Dalsum or whatever the fuck, and then someone's like, no, it's pronounced this. You're like, I guess I'm an idiot. But
yeah, you're like mind blown. Oh yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, I knew that.
Who was it? Someone was telling me that their favorite character in a book was named. It might have been on. Was it on that other podcast? But they were telling me that their favorite character in a book was named Tobias, but for the longest time, they always read it as Tobias, and they thought it was so cool, and they thought the character was so awesome, and then when they found out his name was Tobias, they were like, I don't love him anymore.
Dude,
I couldn't name Hermione for the longest time.
Hermione?
I just called her Herma1.
Herma1.
I'm just like every single time I'm reading and I'm just gonna skip that name.
Animorphs.
Because I know who they're talking about. They're talking about the girl, but I'm just gonna skip that name and not read it out loud or say it in my mind.
When I was a kid, I read the Animorph books, and one of the main characters, her name is Cassie, but for some reason in my mind, I always read her name as Casey.
Interesting.
And so when one of my friends, I introduced him to the series, and I had read like half the series at that point in time, and he started talking about this character Casey, and I'm like, Casey? Who the fuck is Casey? And or Cassie? I mean, who the fuck is Cassie? And then I'm like, you mean Casey? He's like, no, it's Cassie. That's Cassie, not Casey.
Cassie.
I'm like, oh my god, I am an idiot.
You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
I'm a drunken idiot. But
there's definitely a lot of words that I've had complete misconceptions on how
English language.
Pronounced.
Whoa! I never read Animorphs, but I did look at their covers.
The covers are really stupid.
I'm pretty much the same. They look cool.
No, the covers are really stupid, but the books themselves were actually good. It was incredibly gory, actually.
Really?
Yeah, like for a book series geared at kids, there were several books that I remember reading where, like, they turn into these animals, but as animals, like they're like having to hold their intestines inside after they've been sliced open by these aliens with razors on their arms.
Okay.
And so they're trying to fight while they're trying to hold their stomachs shut so their intestines don't spill out all over the floor.
So did these books get like over time get like more graphic, just like Harry Potter?
Whoa,
did?
there's a wait, there's a starfish cover according to Brown Bomber. I must Google this shit right now.
A starfish cover? There was.
Is there a starfish Animorphs? He says there is.
Yes, there's one where the character
How
Rachel,
useful could it be?
She gets cut in half when she's a starfish, and you know how starfishes are. You can cut them.
They
into pieces.
reproduce on each side.
That is the stupidest fucking picture. That is the
retarded.
stupidest fucking picture.
Put it in the Skype chat so I can show it.
I don't want to look at it.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like, hey, Becky, you're going to be on the cover of Animorphs. That's so awesome. I love that series, and the covers are so fucking cool. You're going to be a starfish. Fuck you. Talk to my agent.
That's pretty much it. That's one of the worst covers. Another one is like
that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that one? Because you forgot it? You got it confused with the other starfish one?
No, I've just seen the... I never read
Oh,
it. I
gosh.
just saw that image on Tumblr before.
Come on, Ray.
I'm sorry.
It's bad. Did
Now
anybody
everyone
ever
can
watch
see it.
the Animorph TV show that came on? I think it came on Nickelodeon.
I don't know, but this cover is telling me to watch Animorphs on TV.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I never saw the TV show.
Why? It's just like, oh man, we're a popular
one?
TV show. You know what's really going to work? A girl turning into a starfish. Let's just pair those two together.
But you know
That's
what?
really going to turn people onto the TV
That's
show.
probably the
You know
least
what?
selling one they have.
Yeah, but that book was actually pretty good though. In the
Everything
series.
changes, but not quite like this. Is
Yeah.
that like a tagline throughout, or is that just for this cover?
They come up with a new really stupid tagline for every single book. It's very annoying.
You've seen all the cool transformations, but you haven't seen a starfish.
I just linked you to the best cover.
Oh God. Okay, let me click on this link.
As you do.
It is the best.
Tell you what.
I'll tell you what. It is for the people who are watching with their ears. We're looking at an Animorphs cover that someone made. I think it's a fan-made one.
I'll
Yes,
post
this is
it.
amazing.
And it's Hank Hill morphing into a propane tank.
The propane tank says, "I'll tell y'all what."
I'll tell you what.
Tell you what. God damn it, Bobby.
This is, to sell propane, you must become propane.
Man, living in Texas my whole life, I always thought that like King of the Hill was only funny because it's so Texas, like especially Texas small town. And I remember when I was working those Toyota commercials, we were in like 8-9 different states across the U.S. and we were all over the place. And I remember like in hotel rooms, almost everywhere, every city had like King of the Hill syndicated, and it did well. Like it was popular, and it's so weird. Like it's just,
I'm really surprised at how well that show did. Like, it just didn't seem like it was ever that popular, but apparently it was. It went on for like 9 seasons.
I know. I don't understand how that even happened. I've seen the show.
The show's funny.
It's
I just never got into
worthy,
it.
but it's not.
No, it's not flashy. It's totally the definition of a slow burn, and it's so good at being what it is.
It reminds me a lot of. I've got a lot of family from the South, and one part of my family is from Texas. So every time I watch that show, it's like it reminds me of my own family. So it's another one of the reasons why I didn't really like the show. I'm like, oh, this reminds me of family, family reunions and all that other stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip this one.
Well, Mike Judge he's very good. He's the guy who does it, and everyone he's the guy who did Beavis and Butthead, and but the thing is his movies are great. And
when's he doing Idiocracy too?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people don't know this about Idiocracy because he filmed it here in Austin, and I think
that was in Austin.
It was in Austin, but the whole thing is, and there's a lot of it's green screen. But Mike Judge, I think, was in one of the Spy Kids movies, maybe Spy Kids 2, and then after that he did Idiocracy, and I think that was great because I think him working, because all he did before that was Office Space, which is kind of a low budget movie, but it's great. And
you know what, I cannot because of Idiocracy, I cannot see a Fuddruckers without thinking
butt fuckers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why it was in the can for so long.
Yeah.
My theory is that Mike Judge worked on Spy Kids 2 with Robert Rodriguez, saw how digital and easy, or how possible it was to do all these digital effects like in house. So then I think that made him feel like he could do something as big as Idiocracy with the small budget. But so Idiocracy got made, and then it was in the can for like 3 years, if not more. And what had happened was Fox owned it, and they finally gave it a release, but I think it was released like in 4 theaters.
Yeah, I only found it after.
Yeah, it was DVD, and it did really well on TV.
Someone had recommended it. I'm like, what is this movie? And then I watched it. I'm like, this is a great movie. Why didn't I see this?
It's so good, and it's so real. It's so becoming a documentary now because everything's coming out to be true. But the whole thing is, it was the companies. It was people like Starbucks and Gatorade and Fuddruckers and stuff that like they gave them the go ahead. They were like, oh, it's a big budget movie. Yes, you can use our likeness. But when they found out what they did to them, they weren't happy about it. And
Gatorade destroys all the world's crops.
Brondo. You're talking about Brondo, not Gatorade. But in one, in one of the shots, whenever Luke Wilson is like drinking it from a fountain, they didn't change that. Like it still says Gatorade. Like you can still see where they forgot to change the logos.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. If you have not seen it, you need to see it. It's kind of like WALL-E, but without being a cartoon by Pixar.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's WALL-E without being WALL-E.
No.
Yeah, I mean
it's WALL-E without all the stuff from WALL-E.
All right.
It's kind of a similar premise though, where you have a giant corporation or corporations that are destroying the world and making people fat and stupid.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have to start getting ready for a dinner date with a lady, a late dinner date apparently, but here in the next like 5-10 minutes or so. But I'll leave in about 5. But if anyone has any questions, you feel free to fire, and we can do like a quick question, unless no one has any questions.
Oh God, you don't want to open.
What's your favorite movie?
You're on the spot. That's the worst thing to ask someone who loves movies.
Well, we'll give the chat a time.
That's like asking a fat person what's their favorite food.
What's your favorite book? What's your favorite Animorph? Go.
Well, oh shit.
Favorite Animorph.
That was directed at you. You're not answering. Come on.
Wait. Okay, my favorite book would have to be Watchmen. I know it's based on a novel. I mean, I know it's now considered a novel.
Dude, totally legit answer. I love it.
You know what my favorite book is? Anyone can guess.
No? Catcher in the Rye?
No, but
it's The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Whoa.
It's just called The Lost World.
That's your favorite book? Okay, so wait. Your favorite book is a sequel to a book where your main character from the second book actually gets killed in the first book?
Yes, that's why I love it so much.
That's why.
He even makes a joke about it at the beginning. He's like, "Yeah, there were reports that I had died, but no, I'm still here."
Wait. So, which character?
Ian Malcolm.
Ian Malcolm.
Malcolm? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he dies at the end of the Jurassic Park book, but he's the main character of the second book.
Does he die at the? How does he die
really?
in the first book? Isn't he the guy that gets eaten in the toilet? Or no, is he?
No, that was still the lawyer.
Oh.
In the first book, he gets that wounded leg from the T-Rex attack. You know, when the lawyer gets eaten off the toilet. And he spends the rest of the movie the rest of the book high on morphine, giving advice as he slowly dies. And
well, that would have been an awesome character.
Yeah, and so, but the book never actually specifically says that he dies. It's just kind of implied because they say there were only a certain number of survivors, yada yada yada. But for the second book, he's the main character, so they're like, yeah, there were reports that I had died, but sad for them, no, I'm still here. And he spends a large part of the first part of the movie trying to overcome his disability that he's
Not being dead?
Not being dead.
I remember recently watching that movie and just like I remember like the Malcolm character, like I hated that character. I just thought he was such a dick. But like I watched it recently. I'm like, wait a minute, I love this character. He's fucking awesome. How did I not like this character?
Who on this chat has never ever said the words "life finds a way" in a random context from that fucking movie? Because I think we all
didn't even know they were quoting it.
No. I mean, no, when you're quoting it, like people are like, "Well, you can't get that. How's that gonna go to that? Like, how are you gonna get these jelly? How the hell are we gonna get jelly? It's like, how the hell are we gonna get jelly beans on Christmas, JJ? Life finds a way."
So we got a question from the Twitch chat.
Okay.
Favorite RT project to edit? What do you get most?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Like, there's some that I that are favorite because I'm proud of them. Like, I have the RT Shorts DVD still. No, it's not shrink wrapped, but I have it all signed by everyone who worked on it. Because it was my first like project that like came out on DVD and had my name on the credits and on the back of the box and stuff. And I was like, wow, and like it made me really feel like I was part of the RT family. You know, not just like
it makes.
Yeah, well, because the whole thing, it's really weird when you're a contract worker because you could go at any time. But, you know, they kept giving me product and finding excuses to keep me around the office until they finally just asked me to be full-time, which was a great day, which was also the day that we took the picture with all the employees, the big group picture. That was the day I got asked. Like, I'm smiling. Like, I'm super happy in that fucking picture. It's like they like me. They really like me. So the RT Short stuff was a lot of fun, the DVD to put together and put a lot of those extra little like photoshops and jokes in. I edited the Christmas video last year. I did some editing on the Hunger Games this year, but I don't know, man. Like, oh no, definitely my favorite one would have to be Fuel. No, fuck that. That was awful. That was so awful, and it was awful because it took a long time to edit, and multiple times I'd go back to edit, and they would just be them talking about the pizza or eating the pizza, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, I want fucking pizza. But no, so
I love watching that video.
my favorite one would probably my favorite project would probably have to be. I don't know. I'd imagine a recap. The thing about the recap...
I mean, that's your baby.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that the recap, it's like a lot of the jokes and a lot of the shots and the music and when the music cuts out and stuff, like, that's all me, you know? Like, so that's just me just kind of running at it and just doing whatever I think is funny. So to see people, like, react to it or understand the jokes or catch the references, like, it means a lot. Because, like, I've always been making funny videos. I mean, I've had video clients for forever, but I make funny videos to make me feel, you know, just to be silly. And, you know, back when YouTube was just starting out, like in 05 and 0, you know, whatever, you put a video out and you get like 40 hits, or even when it'd get like 100 hits in a couple of days, I'd be like, fuck yeah, 100 hits, you know? And so it's funny to like find...
That still sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's great now to have a medium where you're knowing you're putting just as much heart and just as much of yourself into the videos, and you know that it's gonna get a lot of views. Like, you know that people are gonna see this thing that you just pulled out of thin air. So that's a good feeling until maybe next year and stuff when I'm handling way more kind of live action stuff. That right now the recap is definitely probably the most fun to do, and also I feel, not to like blow any smoke up my own ass, but I feel like I like to like think of it kind of like the South Park guys in the sense they have a week to put something together. So it's kind of scary, and it's also kind of like doing like Jimmy Fallon or something, where like every night,
new content every day, man.
You're saying I'm comparing myself to two guys that let a whole team of people do what I end up doing myself? Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. But
I mean, that's kind of what the graphics guys do too. I mean, they have to come up with a new shirt.
Yeah. And you're talking about Trey Parker, Matt Stone, the guys that raised money for Cannibal the Musical, the first movie ever before they even did Orgasmo and before Troma bought the rights to it. They were just guys that were pulling all the money they had together to make a fake movie trailer for a movie they were hoping to make. Like, totally. I made my short film, went to Cannes, like I've had films at South by Southwest. So yes, when you bleed and you raise money and you're trying to get your baby to the finish line, you're spending X amount of money on post-production and stuff, like, sure, yes, you can totally say that you're right up there with the Spielbergs and the Matt and the Treys and whoever the fuck. If you've ever created anything and put your heart into it and it did something and it won something, then yeah, you deserve that fucking swagger.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it's scary. It's scary, but there's something really creative about chaos. Like whenever shit's hitting the place, like whenever shit's flying all over the place and you have no control over anything, pick up a camera because you're gonna pick up something that isn't planned, but it's gonna be beautiful if you do it right.
Worth publishing.
What's that?
For as part of a sort of podcast tradition, and because you said you had to go soon, there's one last question, which was, where is your favorite place in Austin to eat?
I'm gonna go with something that is probably the truth, and also because it would work for anybody. And it's a place called Kirby Lane Cafe, and there's a lot of them. Well, not a lot of them. There's like 4 or 5, but they originated here. Actually, I don't think there's any anywhere else. But there's one up north. There's one down south. There's one right, literally on Kirby Lane Road, which is where they originated. But they're 24-hour diners. And I love them because they have everything, and everything is really good. Like they have, their version of like enchiladas and Mexican food. They also have burgers and like home fries, but they also have this extensive like breakfast menu. So you can go there anytime and get coffee or queso or both, or like breakfast tacos or whatever. And I also keep it very dear to my heart because I was a waiter there during the graveyard shift for years. So I was waiting tables from like 10 p.m. at night till 4 or 5 in the morning. I got to see some of the craziest people. I had some of my craziest adventures. There was a whole third shift crew, all of us 24-hour like people that would always hang out and have like parties at 7 o'clock in the morning at like at swimming pools. It was a crazy, like totally like gutter punk, like weird time in my life, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Staying up real late and having conversations with like people that were like baked out of their minds at the bar, or like cops sitting right next to them, seeing people that were wasted, like joking around with cops. It was a great time, and the food there is amazing. So if you're ever in Austin, anyone listening to this, Kirby Lane, it's open whenever you want, and it's delicious.
Awesome, man.
Well, thank you guys so much. It was such a pleasure. I'm sorry that it took forever for me to get my stuff set up, but
no problem.
I've definitely had a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for
chatting. No problem. I will record this audio, and someone send me a message with an email so I can send it to somebody.
Sure thing, man.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Good fight.
Bye.